Now, back to what Krugman said earlier about, in his column today about the Tea Parties forever. Last but not least, it turns out that these Tea Parties don't represent a spontaneous outpouring of public sentiment at all. Gee, there's a surprise. They're what's called AstroTurf. That means fake grassroots organization, manufactured by the usual suspects. Krugman says, in particular, a key role is being played by Freedom Works, an organization run by Dick Armey, the former House Majority Leader, and supported by the usual group of right-wing billionaires. And the parties are, of course, being promoted heavily by Fox News. But that's nothing new. And AstroTurf kind of scams have worked very well for Republicans in the past. And that's because their followers are so stupid and so empty-headed. The average Republican can find his ass with both hands, or her ass with both hands. Just no way. They're I don't know. They're like a different species. But the most notable example of fake, popular uprising was the spontaneous so-called riot back in 2000, orchestrated by the Republican strategists that shut down the presidential vote recount in Florida's Miami-Dade County. Remember that? All those, what they call it, the Gucci riot. All these white people banging on the windows. Shut it down. Shut it down. It turned out they were all Republican Party staffers from Washington, D.C. So what's the implication of the fact that Republicans can't grow up, refuse to grow up? Well, in the short term, that's good for Democrats, but it's bad for the country. And as Krugman concludes, for now the Obama administration gains a substantial advantage from the fact that it has no credible opposition, especially on economic policy, where the Republicans seem particularly clueless. And that's so true. I mean, these Tea Parties, they're insane. Sassy Lass says, Tom Hartman says we should go to the Tea Party and have signs that say tax the rich and tax Walmart and stuff like that. Okay, but I don't think Hartman is considering the fact that the people who attend these parties are frothing, brain-dead right-wingers, and they see a sign like that and think that you were a communist or I don't know, a socialist or an Obama supporter or queer, or you were there looking for an abortion or, and they would probably attack you with semi-automatic assault weapons, I would not go near one of those teabagging parties. And by the way, if you want to, if you really want to know, and this, when I first heard the expression, I've had a few people write to me about this too. When I first heard the expression, I thought, wait a minute, teabagging. And I had to, climb aboard my own personal Wayback Machine to remember back in the day when I hung out here in Atlanta with a particularly radical group of queers who were, just a hell-raising bunch who were agitating for full civil rights along with everybody else. And this is back in the day when Gay Pride Day was just starting to develop across the country and here in the South. And I remember the expression teabagging from then. If you want to know what it means, there's no way I can say it on the air. Go to urbandictionary.com, urbandictionary.com, and look it up. And Bob writes in and says, does anybody at Fox know about this dictionary? And this definition, I should say. Every once in a while, when you hear somebody use this term, you'll hear folks in the immediate vicinity kind of snicker or go, damn. Look it up, and you'll know why. Go to urbandictionary.com. And Ronnie writes, tea parties, Republican tea parties. What a blanking joke. Ed showed a clip on his show where someone at one of these so-called tea parties spews out, burn the books! And Ronnie writes, what the blank is going on? Isn't that what the Nazis did? To me, Ronnie writes, these so-called tea parties look more like Christo-fascist Klan meetings without the walking tampons. Ronnie. Yeah, well, that's exactly what it is. Fox News should have every single one of its licenses pulled for all of its stations and gotten the hell out of the United States. You know, they talk about Barack Obama was born someplace else. No, he wasn't, but Rupert Murdoch was. Rupert Murdoch was, and he ought to be thrown out of the country. Just throw him out. Throw him out on his ass. He's a terrorist. He has a terrorist organization. It's called the News Corp. And its major subsidiary is Fox Television. It is a full-blown, by George Bush's definitions, terrorist organization. Not that I depend on George Bush to define my terms, but just going on these sick, degenerate Republican definitions, it's a terrorist organization. It is a terrorist organization. It is. And it should be shut down.